All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the video. And today I want to talk about how and why I'm unfrying my brain from the internet. I think I really took a step back maybe like a week or two ago, and I did not realize how much like an algorithm actually impacts your life until I took that step back and I really thought about things. And yeah, that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. So I'll kind of go off with algorithms. Algorithms are designed to, in YouTube terms, to keep you watching, to keep you engaged with whatever the content is. They want to feed you more of whatever grabs your attention. Sometimes it's things that are just not good for you. And I don't think many people realize it's happening until they take a step back, because I was realizing like my mood was really low a lot more. And that's been a kind of like gradual shift over the years, and I think my behavior has just drastically changed from who I was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago until I got way more into, how like the internet is like a part of everyday lives, and sometimes there's no escaping it. And I don't think the internet is the problem. I think it's your relationship with the internet. And I think most people think that they're in control, when in reality, I just don't think most people realize how grabbed they are by the algorithm, and how bent over they are by it. To be honest, I mean, I'm just kind of talking from my personal experience now. My algorithm, which I will talk about what I've had to do and how I've had to change, but my algorithm was just really pushing negative and emotional content, whether it be politics or news, and it wants to push as much outrage, as much drama that you are interested in. You, instead of you actually being interested in intentionally watching something, you're kind of just looking at it and just kind of watching it passively and just consuming things that I don't. What I'm trying to get at is negative content that is just constantly there. Even if you don't click on it, but you see it, you're still seeing it. And I know that sounds kind of daft, but it's my way of kind of understanding things and kind of explaining it. I I don't want to say I'm a political person, but I see things that are going on right now, and content that is pushed to me, even if it's something that I just, I don't want to see, which is most of the time I don't want to see negative things. I will still get my whole algorithm based off of it, and I will see about 100, 200 videos of just recommended things that just, if I watch it, it's just going to annoy me. And that cannot be good for your mental health. And yeah, the algorithm, again, it just kind of pushes the negative. It feel for me anyway, it pushes the negative content more because it knows that you're going to interact with it more. You're going to have an emotion to it, and as soon as you give that emotion, whether it's a good or a bad one, they've got you hooked. And this just kind of leads on to like doom scrolling, which you could just easily lose a few hours without even noticing half the times, especially with short form content. So, like YouTube Shorts or TikTok. I have had a relationship with TikTok where I used to be on it because I would waste a lot of hours intentionally at work. If I had like a couple hours to, maybe not a couple hours, but if I had some time just to kind of, have a little quick consumption sesh, if that makes sense, I could just waste like, 5, 10 minutes here and there and then kind of get on with my day. And I did not realize how bad this is for your brain. It shortens your attention span. The constant stimulation as well. Like if I'm going to bed, I'll quickly hop on TikTok and I'll watch like 10, 20 TikToks. And before I know it, I've already passed like half hour, an hour. I should have been sleeping like an hour or two ago. I don't think many people realize that you are consuming a lot more, but gaining very little or nothing. And as well as that, the short form content, not all of it, of course, there's actually some pretty cool ones, I'm sure, but some of it, you can just tell it's like AI. There's no actual meaning behind the creation of it. It is just slop, which has kind of filled YouTube Shorts, especially in my opinion, but TikTok is kind of filled with it too. Honestly, our attention span has just diminished so significantly, and I really don't think people realize it. But again, I'm kind of talking more about like my personal view of it as well. It was affecting me a lot more than I realized. Emotionally, I was drained. I felt foggy, and I was constantly distracted, always kind of reaching for my phone, having a quick, 3 or 4 TikToks, or going on social media and seeing someone doing great things. And I'm just kind of sitting in my reality and doing nothing, watching things that I didn't even care about as well, to a certain extent. And time was just disappearing with nothing to show for it. And again, you get pushed content that is just going to anger you as well. And so I just felt really not good in myself. And I also felt bankrupt spiritually, but I can kind of go onto that maybe in another video. But I decided to change because I had this realization that this is just not what I want to see. This isn't what I want to actually be doing with my time. And what I wanted for myself was more control over like my attention span. And instead of just automatically, reaching for my phone, wasting some time, I wanted to use the technology that I have on me. So mostly my phone, or I'm sure, as you know, like your phone, you have your phone on you most times. I wanted to use technology more intentionally instead of just automatically, is what I'm kind of getting at. And so what I did is I decided to build I guess you could say like a fence, a tech fence around myself. So I didn't quit technology completely because I just can't, especially with my job and stuff. That is just not going to happen. But I wanted to gain back control, and I wanted to control how I use it. And so my first method was I wanted to fix my YouTube. I think my YouTube, I spend out of all like the websites and my phone, I spend a absurd amount of time on YouTube, whether I'm listening to podcasts or YouTube music or just cool videos, whatever it is. I spend a lot of time on YouTube. And funny enough, I was actually planning this video, and then PewDiePie decided to upload a video where he kind of talks about like de-googling his properties and his like phones and stuff. It's very cool, and I actually recommend that video a lot because it kind of gives you an insight, and he explains things a lot better than I do. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching that PewDiePie video. I will link it in the description, but it's just by chance that he's uploaded that video as I'm kind of recording this. But I decided to download a Google Chrome extension called Unhook. Now, Unhook is basically where you can kind of filter YouTube to how it used to be back in the day. You can get rid of ads, you can get rid of the endless feed of just constant rubbish on your feed and no suggested videos, which I think is a big, big factor for me personally. And I gotta say, as soon as I downloaded this and I kind of updated it and rearranged, I felt so much better within like a day or two. And I actually took it a step further. So basically, I've got some like footage on the screen now. This is the app and everything. And this is what my YouTube looks like. So it looks really, there is nothing there. So the only content that I actually can see is from people who I've actually subscribed to. So what I did is I unsubscribed from like I want to say like over 300 like channels, and it took me forever. It was a long time, but I removed things like politics, news because it's just so negative and draining. And I like unsubscribed from people who I had, I wasn't really watching. I just kind of unsubbed from them because I wasn't watching their content, and it didn't, it just didn't interest me. So I was very intentional with who I subscribed to. And my result now is that I only see content from creators that I genuinely want to watch. And that has been a huge, huge milestone for me. It feels great. So this has actually taken away a lot of the time that I spent on YouTube. And as I said, it feels so much better. I don't get as much noise. I'm not tempted by like just seeing rage bait content that's just going to upset my day. And I am considering canceling YouTube Premium. I use it because when I'm driving, I listen to podcasts and music, but I'm kind of regressing in a really weird positive way. I'm going back to radio, and if there is like a podcast I really want to watch, I will just deal with the ads, and that's fine. So that's my whole YouTube fixed. But you might be wondering, on the phone, how does that work? Because obviously, when you're outside the house, you're not on your computer, you're on your phone most of the time. And that was where I really, really took it up a notch. So I decided to uninstall all the social media apps on my phone, except for like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, because I talked to my mummy through that way. So of course I'm gonna, not talk to my mum for this. So I uninstalled Facebook, Twitter, which I gotta say I absolutely hate Twitter. It is the most negative place that you can go on the internet, it feels like. And I uninstalled Instagram. Instagram is my favorite one. I gotta say, I do like Instagram, but I uninstalled it because I was spending way too much time, and the algorithm, the things that I was getting fed on Instagram, it wasn't as bad, I gotta say. But for Facebook and Twitter, especially, my algorithm was just destroyed. And I've tried so many different things. I've clicked on the not interested thing, and then it just recommends me 10 more. So I didn't see the point in that. And I put like a timer on the app so I can only see like 15 minutes every hour. And that didn't really work because I would just bypass it and just kind of carry on like nothing's changed. So by uninstalling these apps, I'm not deleting the accounts, by the way. I'm just uninstalling them. I'm instantly removing that easy access to it. And maybe in the future, I might install Instagram again or I might install Facebook again, whatever it may be. I'm not getting rid of like the actual account. So I'm never going to go back to it because I'm not going to say that. Instagram, for me, I like uploading photos, when I have like a cool photo to show and I just kind of want to share it. I'll install it, I'll upload it, and then I'm just uninstalling it straight away. I'm not deleting the account. I'm never gonna go back to Instagram or anything like that. But yeah, that's my plan. So before I uninstalled Instagram, I do talk to like some of my friends, maybe distant friends as well, and some distant family members on Instagram. So what I decided to do is I was very intentional and I gave them my phone number. So if people wanted to actually have a conversation with me instead of just, not talking and just sending endless memes back and forth and just scrolling, they have a way of reaching me. So once that those texts were sent out, I then uninstalled it all, and I got to say, it's been like 2 weeks now, and it feels like a weight is just off my shoulders. I got to say, and I just feel so much better for it. I really feel like I said I've got like a weight off my shoulders. It feels like there's a weight off my brain, and it feels like I mean, right now in England the weather is just really great, so that is just always going to boost your mood, but I look at the world in like a different perspective, and I think that is so freeing and so it's just great. I feel more clear, I feel more focused, I feel more in control of my life than I ever did before, and I don't think you realize how much control you've actually lost until you just have a digital detox for like a week, 2 weeks. You'll realize like, you know what? I haven't been on Instagram for a week. I feel better. I haven't been on YouTube for a week or whatever it may be. And I really do think that, after about a couple of days, I didn't miss it. I don't miss going back to, endlessly doom scrolling, just seeing all this negative stuff in my feed. Of course, you might have a completely different feed. I'm sure you do. But I would be very surprised if there's not one or two videos in there that you just scroll past and you see it and it's just going to put you in a bad mood. But I have put these barriers in place. I have been very intentional with talking to people. If someone wants to talk to me, instead of talking to them through social media, they have my number. They can text me and I can talk to my friends through that. And my attention has been fought over, and you really do need to decide where your attention's going to go. And I know it feels like, maybe to some people, I'm sure there's some people out there who just totally understand where I'm coming from, but I just feel so much better for it. So yeah, that's just where I kind of wanted to talk about. So that's the things I've done to kind of unfry my brain rot that I've gained from YouTube and from just social media and the internet. Again, I'm not getting rid of the internet. I love the internet. I do, I play games and stuff like that. I want to see the latest news with games and just the content creators I actually care about and films, and stuff. But I feel like I have such a better relationship with the internet than I have for a very long time. And I really do urge you just to, even if you don't think you're that bad, give it a try. Give it a try for a week or two, see how you feel, and I guarantee that you will feel better. But yeah, those are just my thoughts and opinions. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.